Good evening everyone, hello and welcome to OTL Racing. We're here tonight with round number 5 of our GT3 league here on ACC. So the penultimate round, Nurburgring, and you can see we have more rain, so hopefully it provides as much excitement as it did last week. Hope you're all doing well. Evening Akram, unlucky, that's a shame, but fair enough. Got to put family first. I hope you're doing well, hope you're all safe and sound. So yes, usual 75-minute race, and as you can see, a lovely damp circuit to test them once again. There's two Porsches of Whitburn and Watson looking very handy in practice. Be interesting to see how they fare, if that car is strong around here, especially in the wet. They are two quick drivers anyways. McLeod doing pretty good time as well. Only just under half a second back. It's not too bad at all. Oh, not too bad. Well, I say not too bad. I'm feeling pretty naff this evening, unfortunately. So it's going to be a slightly less energetic stream than. Well, not that I'm exactly high energy bouncing off the walls, but. Oh, your brown car. Yes, your beautifully shiny brown. What colour is it this week? Slightly different shade of brown, or it would have been, anyways. So yes, fingers crossed I'm going to get through the stream. That's the plan anyways. If it get worse, that might not happen, but we'll see. We'll start and cross our fingers. Then we get to the other end. Yeah, what's some of a pretty solid time considering? 1:59.757. Top 9 all within a second. Mormon in the Bentley in 9th at the moment, just under that second gap. Neworth as well, in and around that mid-pack. Got 32 drivers in the server at the moment. Got about another 5-6 minutes left until they have their driver briefing. And then the usual qualifying and 75-minute race to come afterwards. Nice team then there from Connor. Cajun slow. Curious what his Discord name is now. I think I know who that is, but nice throwing shade at Cajun. He runs the ACC stuff on Xbox in OTL, so yes, I think they know each other. So yes, yeah, using it to throw shade at other people. Lovely stuff. If you can't do it there, where can you do it? So Brignara at the moment leading the pro category, 95 points, his lead of 17 points back to Kieran Sharp. So Brignara hoping maybe with penultimate round tonight to at least hold on to that lead, give himself a good chance going into next week to bring home the championship. And Larson just 4 points behind Kieran Sharp, so 21 points off the lead. It would be harder for him unless something really goes wrong for Brignara, but yeah, it remains to be seen just what kind of evening they have. So a few drivers I think decided they're done now until the driver briefing's over. There's some cracking server lag in there. Don't worry if I go a bit quiet, as I said. Not that you guys might be thinking, oh, thank God for that. Bit of peace at last. But yeah, as I said, I'm feeling a bit rough as the back end of a donkey, which I can't imagine is a glorious place. So yeah, if I go quiet, but the cameras are still switching and whatnot, it might be that I'm having to sort of zonk out a bit and not talk too much, but I'll try and keep focusing on the action where I can, and I'll talk here and there. Who knows, I might perk up and waffle on as always. So not many cars out on circuit. Is it maybe just Chumley? It is just Chumley. Oh well, it's on the end of the lap, might as well finish it. I imagine these conditions good fun to drive in. Quite looking forward to driving my first race or whatever, qualifying practice, whatever, in the rain on a wheel. I said the wheel I got off of Mr. Josh Webster not too long ago. Oh, that's some funky parking. Yeah, I had a little try of that the other day and very fun, so I want to be using that more and more. Yeah, trying it in adverse conditions. I'm probably going to find that I spin a lot, so fingers crossed that isn't the case. But certainly not the GT3s. I think I'll be fine in those, but I think anything else I may be whacking the traction control up quite high, especially at the start while I'm a bit lead-footed, just planting it on the accelerator and crossing my fingers. GT3 is pretty useful on that front. They're quite receptive, quite, not as easy to just spin around unless you're sort of a glutton for punishment and you're driving around without traction control on. Hello, Legstar. Are you in the server yet, though, Mr. Martin? We'll be in a minute, I'm sure. But yeah, no, you've got plenty of time. Driver briefing just starting. So if you want to be shouted at by Kieran, then yeah, jump in. He doesn't shout at people, does he? He's a lovely fella. Wouldn't say boo to a goose. He wouldn't say boo, he'd say something very different. A goose are rubbish, I hate geese. Something like that. Oh dear. So yes, we've got the usual. Just to remind people, the basics, different tracks, slightly different circumstances, whether that's pit entry, pit exit. The weather, just like little reminders in the driver's minds, stuff that you would often think is common sense, but sometimes just needs rising to the surface a little bit, just so they can remember. And just make sure everyone's aware of the format for the night, as always. And yeah, make sure they know what's coming. Hello, Quinton. Fan of the wet, then? You're in a Lexus. I mean, surely this is. You say wet. You won a league race in the GT3s a couple of seasons back because it was soaking wet. Come on. That's a bit too much information. No, come on. But yeah, I thought you'd love it in the Lexus, Quinton. I thought you'd be right up your alley. Oh, you're just one of those ones where you just can't get out of. You're just like every time you drive, it's like no, wet again, wet again. It's like all I've driven for the last 2 and a bit days is Zolder. I did Zolder on Tuesday in an Onid, what was the Onid GT4s, and then I drove Zolder again yesterday in the Porsche Cup in the RDC League. I did okay in the GT4s. I was an absolute toilet in the RDC League, but then I've been pretty toilet in every race. I'm actually the lowest person in the standings that finished every race, but take pride in the fact that I finished every race, because a lot of people did, you know, DNF and just quit and stuff, and I did not do that. I soldiered on. But yeah, I love Zelda, great track. I haven't driven Nurburgring for a long time, so yeah, looking forward to trying the wheel round here, seeing that I'm no quick. Actually, I think I'll be quicker on a wheel round here quite quickly, to be honest, but I look forward to finding out. So yes, driver briefing will end in next minute or two, and then we'll be into the qualifying. No, I always get this wrong, you see, and then I'm worried about saying, yeah, it's 15 minutes. Every time I say 15, it ends up being like 20 or something, so I'm like, do you know what, sod it, I'm checking. It's, yeah, 15-minute qualifying, 75-minute race with the usual pit window smack bang in the middle, so half an hour into the race, and then the window shuts with half an hour left. Now, last week was interesting because we started on a dry circuit, then the rain came. It looks like tonight more likely to be wet from start to finish. But again, the fun we had last week was that it started dry, got wet pre the pit window, and then drivers had to make that choice whether they stayed out, which was probably the wisest thing to do. But most drivers pitted, get it on wets. Whereas Kieran Sharp, who won the race, Andrew Pike, who I think got 4th, Christopher Larson, another driver just behind, all stayed out. Because as long as you could keep that, basically how long is a pit around there? About a minute. As long as you could keep them behind before the pit window, because everyone has to pit still in the pit window, then you were golden. There we are. I think the driver briefing might be over as a couple are leaving the track. Yep, a few drivers popping straight out onto circuit. Or sharply shouting them, "Oh, come back! I haven't finished yet." Yeah, they've finished. There we go. Good luck all.
Go, go, go.
Shared pit box. Nice. Share and share alike. They're a generous bunch. Ah, Mr. Fish here as well. Last minute. He knew he was going to be pretty late. I don't think he's got much practice, but he normally doesn't need too much. He did a little bit last night, I know that. Cracking driver that he is. Peter Greaves, the homeschool racer. You see on Twitch again, homeschool racer, his username, all one word. Go give him a follow. Lovely fella, salt of the earth. Not if he's streaming at the moment actually, but I'm sure he will be shortly. Hopefully anyways. Probably fiddling around with everything, clicking buttons as we speak. He's had an eventful league for him. Normally it's quite, you know, it's all very like clean. So he's been involved in a few bits this season. When he punts, he goes properly punty. But he's a good lad. He knows when it's happened. It's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. You know, it happens. But as I said, lovely, lovely chap. As you can see, I've got a bit of a man crush on the fella. Oh, look at that. So we've got a nice dry circuit for quali. So it'll be interesting to see what we get for the race. They're going to have a fully dry circuit for qualifying. So I wouldn't be totally against what we had last week. With the dry start and then the rain coming in about 5-10 minutes in. I don't think anyone would pit this time after they saw what happened last week. But of course it only means, you know, you've only got to have one death and you are done for. You have to be very careful. So it's a slightly risky strategy, but strategy that a few will still try. So Mega's here, yes he is, in his Ferrari. So 36 drivers with us tonight, unless any drop out or any are able to get in during qualifying. Got aboard with the current championship leader then, Matteo Brugnara. So he's done many a season with us. I think he might be a previous season champion as well, from a couple of seasons back. Hopefully not doing too much weaving trying to warm up cold tyres, because that doesn't work on here. All you do is you grind up your cold tyre. Oh, and that's not great if he's got in that car's way. Well, that's gone well, hasn't it? Do you know what? I've just realised I've turned the track map off. I want that back because I want to know. Let's have a look. See, where is it? Circuit map enabled. Yes, please. Confirm. Would have been useful to know whether that other car was on a hot lap. If so, Brignara might have been a little bit of bother there. He's got to be careful. Hasn't really given himself much space here. He's got a car right in front of him that is on a valid lap, and he's going to have to give it space. And I know he's much quicker than, so he can't bully it out of the way. Yeah, and that's up to us on Brignara. Unfortunately, that's on him for not giving himself enough room. So you've got to be savvy. You've got to use your head very carefully to make sure you're not causing yourself issues. In qualifying, so easy to make. It's very easy for a qualifying session to go wrong very quickly because it's not. It's only 15 minutes. Before you know it, the first 5 minutes are gone. As I said, we're already 4 minutes in now. You've got to be very careful. So there was an invalidation there from Chumley. Kieran Sharp won't mind having a bit of a tow behind. Chumley's moving over, good stuff. So I'm not giving you too much of a tow, probably realised a little bit too late there. Rory Logan with his first time of 54.759, Larson and Buring as well. Paul Whitburn with his time. Kieran Sharp coming down to the line now. 154.468 pops on provisional pole for the time being. Stravinsky, he was in a cracking place in the AM standings before last round, but unfortunately wasn't able to make the last round. So he missed the first race, he's missed the fourth race, and he's actually won his class in the 2 races he's made at Hungaroring and Misano. So he's still in a good place in the AM Championship, but currently being led by Timo Buring, who looks in good nick tonight as well in practice and so far in qualifying. On 79 points, 13 points ahead of the Irishman Dean Power. Came top of the class at last time out at Kyalami, but yeah, Felix Sheff and Savinsky 3rd and 4th in the AM standings. Both didn't make last week. Danny Martinez as well, the Red Feather, who had a big crash last week. Ended up in the wall. I'd imagine would have had minutes and minutes of damage. So yeah, deep shame, but it'll be open for a better week this time round. Sharp on a really good lap as well at the moment, about half a second up on his previous best, but a couple of other drivers improving as well. Look at Ian Hall, was gutted to miss last week, was not well, which is a shame because Kyalami is one of his strongest circuits. We've seen that in previous seasons here. I think it was his last season as an AM driver. I believe he might have finished 4th in the entire race, not just in class, which was, yeah, was his last time he was an amateur driver on here. Definitely became pro pretty soon after that. There we are, 53.9 from Sharp. Chumley, but just behind him. We saw let him go a little bit earlier on and has tucked in nicely. Not getting a draft from him or anything, but not far behind him on the track. Ian Hall as well. Look at that. Pops up into 3rd, just 3/4 of a second back from Kieran Sharp, which is, he's no mug if you set nose times for sure. Peter Greaves, I mentioned earlier, homeschool racer on Twitch. It's not great to watch his streams from his point of view, see how he fares. A fairly solid showing last week. Actually got a top 10, first top 10 of the season for him. He's 14th in the pro standings at the moment. Watch him round to the end of the lap as he comes through the final corner. Improves by about 4 tenths. up into 8th place then for the time being. Quinton was sick of the sight of the rain, so he'll be happier now, I'd imagine. I don't know, I thought the Lexus would be good around here in the wet, but didn't sound like he really wanted that weather, and you know, it's got what you wish for now. But it'd be interesting to see if we get any rain during the race, as we've had such a dry qualifying session. Time's still coming in thick and fast. Still people getting their first proper respectful time. Nuttall up into a third, Brignara in second as well. Just under 3/10 behind. Mr. Martin Legg letting him through then. Come down to Michelin curve. Before starting to curve then down the hill. Ignore that, wrong corner names. Told you I wasn't well. No, I tell you when he's at the Michelin curve, that'll be after the Schumacher S. Looking at the wrong half of the track entirely. It wasn't far from the Michelin curve, technically. It was about 15-20 feet to his right, the other side of the barrier. This is the Michelin curve. Yeah, but he's been very, very solid this season. Brignara consistent, that's the biggest thing, quick and consistent. A few drivers still yet to set a lap time. I'll have to go on board with them shortly. Brignara then up into provisional pole for the time being, 153.613. That was going to improve as well, but not by enough to catch sharp, but brings it down to just over 3/10. So Sam Fleety, no, he's got decent pace, has had opportunities this season, just hasn't quite made the most of them. Saying that, he's of the 3 of the 4 rounds that he's finished, he's been top 10 in all 4. He got a podium last week, just snatched at a third, I think, from Pike, just kept him behind right at the end. But he's had solid pace this season, so you'd be expecting, if he does get a time in, they'll be in good nick. But he's behind quite a few cars here. There's a train of cars all on valid laps just in front of him, so he's going to have to hope that they've all got enough pace to stay clear of him, and that he's not approaching too many of the slower drivers, the AM class drivers. Matt's in the pit, so he won't be registering a time. Felix Sheff as well still to come out. Matt Whitburn still out on circuit trying to set a lap time as well. Ready to go. F into 4th. Very good for a first lap. First valid lap. Less than 6/10 off of that provisional pole. So the top 2 less than the 10th of a second between them. With 3.5 minutes to go. Well, I'm going for a slightly different colour scheme this week. A bit more red, white and blue then. Going for patriotic colour scheme. 3/4 of a second back at the moment. Roughly on Delta with his best so far. So set a good base to push from Matt Whitburn then all the way up into pole with his first valid lap of the session, a 53.220. Rory Logue as well. Up in 4th, Wojciech Neuwirth in 6th. Oscar Soristo up into 8th place. Chumley in 9th. So some quick guys in and around it. But yeah, it's a cracking lap from Whitburn. First valid lap, as I said, so he'd been just pushing a bit too hard previously. Just about got it right then on that attempt. And it's up to everyone behind now to push and try and catch him. But that's going to be hard to match. As I said, I think last week, Whitburn's got the pace. He's just got to match it Oh, that's very sideways from Larson. Whether that was quick, I'm not sure, but it would have been exciting. His heart rate would have gone up a tad, I can tell you that for nothing. But yeah, Whitburn has got the sheer pace, just needs to he's not saying he hasn't got the race crap, he just gets too eager and it's not just a lack of patience in certain situations. Because he's definitely got enough talent and ability to really just be really fast and should be able to win races here for sure. Yeah, not gone his way at all this season so far. It's actually his best result is 17th, which was round 1. He's DNF'd the last 3 races. Well, last week was I think his game froze on him, I believe. He made his way back through the pack nicely. People might have had a qualifying ban last week, so he's made up for it this week, it would look like. Let's go on board with who else is improving near the top. Sharp is still pushing. He knows he's not got much time left. He'll have one more lap after this one. Moorman going well. He's up in 4th then in the Bentley. What can he do? Just over 4 tenths for him to find. And at the moment is about 4 tenths up on his best lap. So could be on for another cracking showing here. Now Moorman came 5th last week, but did have a dominant victory in round 3 at Misano the week before. The first 2 rounds weren't so great. We're still getting, I think, accustomed to the car a little bit, but has dialed it in nicely. So that 3rd round he was superb. Very hard to compete with. Whitburn then is done. Brugnara has closed that gap. I think Sharp might have improved a little bit as well, but it's on them to try and improve. Moorman, Logue as well on a good lap. Chumley popped up into 5th, he improves as well. It's a good lap from him. Fleety provisionally alongside Chumley on row number 3 then. Moorman using as much of the curb as he could. Might have just bitten off a bit more than he could chew there though. Goes about as close to that wall as he could. Gets a bit of a wiggle though as he puts his foot down. How much time would it have lost him? I think he'll gain 1 place here. No, he doesn't. Not even quite enough to get to Sharp. That's a shame. He was on there possibly for a provisional pole. But it is not to be. Brugnara and Sharp still out. Not down on their lap times, but not up on the mover. Oh, and that's going to be an invalidation. Oh, he did pushing too hard, and that'll be a very wiggly McLaren. And the cameraman was not sure what to do there, was he? He couldn't quite tell if he was going in the pits or not there. So Brugnara and Sharp both pushing very hard here. Coming up to the final chicane. And then get as close to that apex as possible and floor it, but not getting a bit of a wiggle as you put your foot down. That ruins all the good work, but does he improve? He does, but by only the minute amount that doesn't really change anything. Sharp, if he gets a good last corner here, could be in with a good chance. This might move him up a position, at least 1 place. Or will he stay where he is? He does 3/4 of a tenth off of Whitburn, so not quite enough to take pole, but puts him on the front row. He'll be pretty happy with that. Larson up on is on an improvement here. If he can keep it valid, maybe enough. It's very close in and around that part of the grid. Could pop him up as far as 6th if he gets a good drive out the final turn. Where does he go? Oh, only up to 9th. You can see there, it's so congested. Half a tenth makes all the difference. So he's still in the top 10. So not too bad. I don't think I mind all that much. Yeah, I know that pain, mate. I know that pain. Now drive a bit more. I know how it feels. I know how it feels trying to improve in all that time, and yeah, you only get like 1 spot, and you're like, that felt like a good lap. Damn it. Gone Alma. Cheers for the follow. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Any questions? Feel free to ask. So Whitburn then, cracking the first 2 sectors. Look at that, especially that middle sector, superb. And takes well-deserved pole position, so he'll have the chance to try and get away at the start. Rather than have to try and battle past people, might suit him a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see. So hopefully it is McGregor in server now. I do not think he is. That's it, 36 of them in here. So who did we lose? I'm going to go with okay, yes, because they aren't able to make it this week. So 3 minutes. No rain at the moment. I like that. Have fun with your tyres, Quinton. Poor fellow. They're all being nasty to Quinton, and that's not fair. He's a lovely lad. And they all love him, really. So yeah, Whitburn and Sharp then, front row. Brignara and Moorman in behind, so they're going to have their work cut out keeping those two behind them early doors, especially Sharp's going to have his wits about him. Turn 1 as well at Nurburgring. We all know what Monza turn 1 is like. Nurburgring turn 1 can be a little bit like that. So it's a very, very fast, long enough straight into a very heavy braking zone and basically a hairpin. So just keep all your fingers crossed and hope for the best, but we will see. Just reading the chat there on the right. Ian Hall, very much looking forward to the driver briefing. I know he was glad he couldn't race last week, but yeah, 14th for him. I'll say, look at that split in the to pro drivers. Pretty solid there, isn't it? First 19 all pro category drivers. Team of Buring again, fastest in qualifying. Mark Peters and Gautam Krishna right in behind him. No, Peter Cruz ends up 24th. So yeah, competitive in and around that part of the grid. Felix Chef, Quinton. I don't know, not quite doing what we know he can do this season. Shavinsky didn't have a good quality either, but what they'll do in the race could be very, very different. So 1 minute to go then. Last changes to their setups. See Matt on the inside, on the right-hand side of the circuit. So Sharp at turn 1. Going to have to be very vigilant. Matteo Brignara will try and follow Whitburn through for sure. So Kieran might be hanging out a little bit to dry, but he would have the inside line into the next couple of corners. So yeah, a little bit of a game of chess at the start of a Nurburgring race. But very much looking forward to it. So let's go on board with Whitburn then. We'll do that. We'll do another little nice camera pan. So 20 seconds to go. Full formation lap as always. And then 75 minutes of wanging it around Nurburgring. I wonder if we will get a very similar situation to last week where it starts raining in the race. So let's keep our eye on the top right where those clouds are. See if that changes. But it'd be fascinating to see. So I wouldn't be adverse to it. It's made for some pretty dramatic stuff last week. Oh, Jordan Watson starting from the pits. What has he gone and done? No, Jordan, no, what did you do? Unless he's had an issue, he just hasn't clicked driving time, so he'll be starting from the pits. That loses you 15-20 seconds. I did that yesterday, to be fair, but that's because I had to run to the loo quickly before the race and I didn't get back in time. How annoying. That's slightly embarrassing as well. That was a bit of a shame, but not that it made much difference. I'm not very quick anyways. Always interesting to see how different drivers approach the formation there. Considering it, you do have teleported cars, but yeah, I know some people have a massive bugbear about the fact you can even not teleport. You're ghosted. You can go through them. That drives some people mad. But so just stay roughly in the green bit on your widget. It shouldn't be difficult, and then everyone should be happy. Are they all happy? No, but they should be. Doesn't mean they are. But hey. That's the way the world works, isn't it? It's a decent wind speed, 1 kilometre an hour wind speed. Now, it'll be interesting to see, as I said, whether, 5-10 minutes into the race, if the rain comes later in the race, it won't really matter because then they can use the pit stop to account for it, or maybe they'd have to pit again afterwards. Who knows? It can get a bit tactical. We don't often have wet weather in our races, not changeable wet weather, anyways. That's fairly rare as far as OTL League races go. Poor old Mr. Greaves wasn't very well over the weekend, so last weekend, so he's not. I don't think he's streaming tonight. He's racing, as we could see, but not streaming. So get well soon, Greavesy. And fingers crossed we see you streaming again next week. But hopefully he'll last the race, but he's not one to quit. So if he does, we know he's not feeling good at all. But I bet you he soldiers on. He's just that kind of guy. So not long till they form up then. There we go. You can see it very quickly once it happens. The game's just like ready, and everyone just piles in. It's like, yeah, the bit I was waiting for. Let's go racing. So you see people that get a bit too overzealous and then have to put it stamp on the brakes and go, sorry, I've come a bit too far forward here. Right, so lovely helicam shot this as well. We'll stay on board with this down to turn 1, see what kind of carnage we see. So Matt Whitburn in the Liberty Porsche with the inside line into turn 1. Kieran Sharp alongside him. Brignara in the dark blue, sort of purplish McLaren. Jerome Morman in the black, Bentley alongside. Chumley and Fleety, the McLaren and Aston behind him. And all McLaren, 4th row of Logan Nuttall behind them. And then Christopher Larson and Sarsuto round out the top 10 in the Beamer and the Audi. So we already have 2 drive-throughs at the start. We don't see those all that often here. That's a shame. But they will have to serve those. People say there's a game bug sometimes, but I don't believe that's the case, to be honest. So coming down to turn number 1, Whitburn, you can see Brignara is going to have a look. Gets hung out to dry a little bit. I'm sure there'll be some collisions further back, but we won't just go back to see all of the carnage that goes on. And maybe, if we're very lucky, everyone will get through. No, someone has spun, I think, on the exit. But Whitburn holds on to the lead then, early doors. So 75 minutes, long time to go. Hopefully everyone will be patient. But we will see. So first couple of corners, not too much went on, but still plenty of time for things that to change. Have a few more car contacts on the first lap. Well, things are still nice and close. So Kieran Sharp holding on to second. Didn't get attacked by Brignara or Morman quite as much as maybe he would have feared. But he's now got to try and keep Whitburn on the leash and not let him get too far away in front. And then the fun old timing screen thing. We'll have to let it scroll on the left, as you can see, because that's what's happened in my broadcast tool. So yeah, good luck with me trying to click on someone. So we'll stay on board. Well, someone is off. Way behind the pack now, that's a shame. Who was that? Let's go and see if we can find out. It's not mine, Meg, is it? No. So he has had a little car contact, but no, someone is properly off the back. Is it Jordan Watson? Oh yes, of course it is. So poor fella started from the pits, doesn't it? Didn't he? So he's like a good 10 seconds behind. You have to wait till they've gone way past the pit lane. So Felix Chef is the rearmost car of the drivers that are still on that pack. So just Jordan Watson really off the back at the moment. Oh, traffic cone going off and away. Someone didn't fancy that. And there's removing them one by one from the racing circuit. So Fleety up in 7th for now then. Nice solid start from him. Christopher Larson, the big old BMW right behind him. He's not going to be able to miss that car in his rearview mirror. He's going to go to the inside onto the marbles. And Fleety will move left to give him a little bit of space here. See what happens. Larson will have the inside line. Fleety will maybe try and go wide. Get a good drive, but Larson will crowd him a little bit. Have to take the wider entry. Good driving from both of them. Giving each other respectful space. Really good driving from Fleety there. Just patient, and then was able to get the position back. Or does that we've had a bit of a bonk further back though. Wonder who's got involved in that. So it wasn't Conor Galbraith, was it Andrew Pike? Oh, he's 16th. I don't think it was. So maybe someone's just had a bit of a moment on their own. Sometimes that does happen. The game will not tell you how they've had an accident, which is a bit annoying, but there we go. Not much you can do about that. Jordan Watson still working his way through, so he's in ahead of a few cars now. So who's had a big oof? Let's just go clicking on people until we find someone who's in the late 30s and wasn't a minute ago. Ah, I think I found someone. No, Conor Galbraith is still there, so was it Pike? 25th. So yeah, he clearly had a fairly large oof. Newworth down to 31st. Konzaba as well. So they, I believe, are probably... Yeah, there we are. So Mark Peters is right at the back. Car number 27. Yeah, see, now my Oh no, he saved his drive-through, didn't he? So who was the other drive-through? Car number 11. So Kunzab and Peters had the drive-through. So Newarth would have been one of the few cars that had an accident. And I believe that would have been with... So his car number 63, no, might have been on his own, so it might have been a few people having spins. 57, 54 it says here, had a bit of contact. That's Conor Galbraith with Andrew Pike, so that might have been what sent Pike further back, so that might be something that gets looked at later on. There's quite a few spots to drop, there's quite a few positions to lose. So I always suspect something might have gone on, but again, we will see later when they get looked at, as they always do. So Whitburn still holding on to the lead nicely, nearly 5 minutes into the race. Sharp hasn't let him get away. You can see Brugnara as well just in behind. Rory Logue has got ahead of Moorman though, so Moorman's dropped back just a tad. Actually, you know, he was on that fight for the top 4. He was quite close to the back of Brugnara, but actually he's dropped a good chunk back now. Flash from Nurburgring there. Not always necessary. It's got to be nice and patient. Don't be too aggressive. Obviously, he isn't happy with it. Oh, there's a little bump there. So it's not a good look if you flash and then bump someone. Keeps doing that. He'll get himself shouted at later on. So clearly something's gone on there. And yeah, as I said though, flashing doesn't do any favours unless he thinks he should be letting him pass. But that's not his decision to make. So Leg holding on for what he can. Nurburgring obviously back there. For some reason, something's gone on beforehand. You can see as well Control Blanchett and Seth just behind these two. Oh no, number 57. Oh crikey, is anyone going to hit him? No. So that's Andrew Pike. Oh dearie, there's someone gone very off though. Was that Paul Whitburn? It might have been. It was. Oh dearie dear. That's a yeah, long way. That's a hell of a detour that. Coming back on both of Nurburgring. So yeah, what's gone on there? Not sure. That's going to take some looking at though. Definitely some shenanigans gone on that we missed just previous to these two. Jamie Nussle down in 10th. Not so fast racing. Good old team name that. Sam Fleety right in front. So he's got some quick cars to keep up with. But still over an hour to pace himself. So the pit window's only 15 minutes. It's smack bang in the middle of the race, so still another 22 minutes, 22 and a half minutes. 23 and a half minutes if we're going to be really pedantic until the pit window opens. So gaps at the front, not too big at the moment. There's a 1.8 second gap from Sarito up to Christopher Larson in 7th. But apart from that, most of the gaps are pretty small. Got a few little mini trains, as we often do. Ian Hall down in 13th, but again got some decent pace. McLeod we saw had some good pace as well when it was wet in practice, but has been dry in quali and dry in the race so far. Greaves doing well again, as he always seems to in the race. Managed it very nicely. Peter Greaves up in 16th. Getting quite a few spots from where he started. So Andrew Pike down in 34th then. So I wonder, so car number 57, does it register him having an incident with someone else or an off? No, it did, yeah, of course it would have been probably with Conor Galbraith, so that may get looked at a little bit later on. It's hard to tell. That might mean they just had a little bump and there wasn't really much in it. It might have been a horrendous takeout. There's no way of telling, to be honest. So Whitburn's opened up that gap now to just over a second at the front. Brugnara again keeping tabs as best he can. Oh, Rob Quantrell nearly there. No, still not there. There he is. Number 77. There's Hade coming together. with Felix Chef in the Ferrari. Dropped down to 34th. Last lap was 2:13, so has lost a good nearly 20 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds. So that would have been a sizable collision, I'm imagining. Okay, and we'll get to see that another time. A bit sideways from Mormon there. That would probably be an invalid lap if it was in qualifying. So it's got back ahead of Rory Logue. Logue back down to 5th in the Macca. Mormon now wants to close that gap back up to those front three. You can see Brignara not too far ahead of him. But all very similar pace, these front four. Very, very close in and around the flat 154s. I think Whitburn is probably set about a 53.6 here. He did 53.685. So again, 1.6 seconds to gap back to Kieran Sharp. Very strong opening to the race, first 10 minutes for Matt then. As I said before the start, possibly favoured him a little bit extra. Just, you know, when he's been having good qualifying sessions, but not quite making it to the top step. And then he's in battles with others, maybe got a little bit impatient, not just quite gone for the opportunity at the right time, and then it's cost him. Whereas this time he's got to start from the front and he could just plough ahead and push forward and use his sheer lap pace. You know, he doesn't have to worry too much about the when to make the overtake or playing mind games with other drivers. He can just give it hell and go for it. Zabo and Pike having a bit of a set too. Pike, I think, has got through though, up into 30 seconds. He's got plenty of positions to make up. We'll have decent pace hopefully amongst the rest. Don't know how much practice he got in, whether that's harming him at all with Pike, but he was a fair bit further up until we had a collision. Timo Buring, leading AM driver so far, has been driving very well all season. Currently leads the AM class by 13 points from Dean Power, who is down in 29th at the moment, so not having the best of nights so far. Quinton then having a look at Conor Galbraith for a little bit. Not great from Conor there, moving over a little bit on towards Quinton, a bit too far for my liking. Needs to give a bit more space there. That's quite. I'm seeing Conor's name been coming up a lot in accidents at the moment. That's you don't want that for obvious reasons. Sure, he's not a dirty driver, but you want to be careful just how many times there's unnecessary contact. And that it looked like he could have just stayed more inside, and he's gone to take the racing line, even though there's a car. Well, one of the racing lines, even though there's a car alongside him. So he needs to be, as I said, needs to be careful. Not to get involved in too much. It's going to harm his race, but it'll harm other people's as well. Chumley, about second back from Rory Lowe. You can see he's been dropped now. I think Mormon's done very well to take off and has been pushing hard, as you can see. 53.6 the last lap. The fastest lap of the race so far from any driver on circuit. Come from Mormon in that Bentley. Has put him only about half a second back from Brignara and Sharp. Again, I think it's going to be a three-way battle for second very, very quickly. Because Brignara is going to be hampered a little bit by having to fight Sharp, and Mormon's going to take that invitation and be amongst it very, very quickly. So he's going to get a good tow down towards turn number one. Is he going to make a move for it? Is he going to have a look? think that might be a little bit brave. Yeah, he decides maybe now is not the best time, although he gets a really nice apex, really close. But then what can he do with it? So I think Felix, Zeph and Martin Legg got tangled up then. Let's go have a look. I think we may just about catch something. Oh, there's a... Oh, hello. Oh, no. Oh, bum. That's... Yep. Could see that. Well done for getting on the brakes. That sounds very unlucky for Martin Legg, though. So I think that's Felix Chef. Yeah, he's going to have to let him turn around. We'll get round him, and then... Yeah, it's an awkward one when you're stuck there. God, that car's going to be handling like a right bag of spanners now. That's a shame. So didn't get to see too much there in terms of angles about how that come about. We'll have to see that later on. Don't know if that was avoidable or anything. We'll have to see later on. Hopefully the car looks more damaged, but is handling okay. But only time will tell. So Whitburn, his lead now up to 3 seconds. Saristo here back in 8th. Got 1.2 back from Chumley. Chumley right behind Christopher Larson. So trying to catch those two up, but not making too much of an inroads as of yet. So Sharp, oh, that looks like Sabrignara has dropped behind Mormon. Sabrignara's made a mistake in this lap. Those two have squabbled. No contact or anything, but those two have not had a good lap. Let's drop them back a good way from Kieran Sharp, so that might give Kieran a little bit more breathing space. Now 1.6 seconds that gap now, so he'll really want to push here. This next 15 minutes between now and the pit window opening, he'll hope that these two keep fighting, and then he can not have to worry about them all too much. Or Conor Galbraith into the pits. Won't be surprised if we see that name disappear in a second. Yep, so that's a shame. So he's not, I don't think he even just had a crash either. So is it car number 54? He's been involved in other stuff with other people, clearly, but has decided to sod it and just left, which is not great. But hey ho, not much I can do about it at this point. I think that's his 3rd DNF in a row as well, which is not very good, to be honest. As I said, he was in a decent position as well. I don't know if he just ditched it. Nothing come up in terms of him having a crash on my screen. What car number was he again? 54. Yeah, I haven't seen anything for the last few minutes, but oh well, is what it is. So the gaps at the top roughly staying pretty equal at the moment. So Conserva with Daniel Simmons behind him, Van der Wolf and Mark Peters as well. All been very eventful races for the lot of them. So Derek Son as well. He's got what looks like Andrew Pike in the Audi trying to make his way through. It's tough for Andrew Pike because he knows he's got the pace. It's not always the easiest thing to get through the pack of drivers that you know you are quicker than. But the race has not gone to not to plan so far. So he's on the inside to the right-hander. Should have the line here just fine. So it all depends whether he decides to go on the defensive here. Depends how much he thinks the cars behind might have a look. I don't think they will from there. So he's all okay. Little bump then, and then it's going to cause carnage for the cars behind him. Another avoidable incident it looks like then. Let's go on board with then. So you'll see if Gertrude's car gets involved in this. So you've got him at the back, you've got Derek Son in front, and yeah, just yeets it straight into the back of Blanchard. It's not good from Gertrude. Definitely avoidable. He can do much better than that. There's a train of cars in front, they're going to be a bit slower, so you should be able to really preempt that that was probably going to happen. The cars, they'll slow up a bit. And you need to not just chuck it in at full pelt. So Moorman, you can see that the gap he's got to Brugnara as well now. 1.6 second back from Sharp. Be interesting to see if that gap closes down. It has done by a couple of tenths, so Moorman may be being unleashed a little bit, having dropped Mattia behind him. You can see, you can just about see Kieran Sharp in the same camera shot. Lovely shot down the straight then. See Kieran just coming into turn 1. Christopher trying to catch him. And Matt Webburn off into the distance, 3.1 seconds at the moment, so just wanted to make sure he doesn't make a silly mistake like in his pits. Very easy to do something like that, and then yeah, that can be mega frustrating. Ian Hall with Miklia and Eric Larson. I think we may have just missed a bit of contact just before we came on board with these three. Might have been just a tiny touch though. But still a battle going on for 11th spot. Another 10 minutes until the pit window opens. Still just under an hour left of this race. Got plenty of time. Just got to use your patience, not to try and push too hard, too fast, too early. So a lot of impatience is what causes most crashes. Just people just trying to go for things way too soon. But we'll have to see, plenty of time to go. Max, and then in 20, if he's got Erbrick and Stravinsky just up ahead, it's going to be interesting. I think Erbrick's going to go for this. He's not doesn't seem like the sort of one to not go for a move. He's going to have to give the space there, and Stravinsky's rightfully gone right up the inside. Nothing wrong with that. Erbrick's going to have a good drive though up to the Schumacher S. Have to go too wide. It's going to be tough. There's going to be a little tap. Yeah, that's pretty inevitable to be honest. Not much you can do about that. So Stravinsky loses out. He drops in behind. Axon's going to have a look. Does not go for it, so Stravinsky will have to try and catch them back up again. Jordan Watson up into 21st. It started in the pit lane after not readying up in time. Actually trying to make a move on Stravinsky. So actually, you don't want to fight the other classes all too hard because the points are given out per class anyways. So it does not benefit you in the slightest to have a battle. Anyways. So Albert gets ahead of that group. Up into 18th now, quite some way behind Quinten van Vingerden now. Dean Power trying to hold Andrew Pike at bay. I don't know how long he'll be able to manage that. Pike pushing as hard as he can, try and make up for the positions he's lost earlier on. So I think he may have been involved with Conor Galbraith in an incident earlier on. Didn't see it, so it'll be something we'll have to look at when the panel go through the incidents from this race. Dean Power had a good race last week. Is up in 24th at the moment. So still, what is he, 5th in class at the moment tonight. Getting spicy back here as well. Vanderwolf with Daniel Simons, and I think that is Paul Whitburn just in behind. I think he's been lapped. Let's have a look. Is that Paul Whitburn? It is indeed. So he'll be a lap down, I believe. Rob Control in the pits. I think he might be done as well. That way he's got a lot of repairs. Probably retiring, I'd imagine. So Paul still pushing on. A little touch between Larson and Chumley then just before we came to them. There's a bit of contact. See if we catch it. We probably won't. Oh, it might have been at turn 1. That's an interesting turn. Interesting line from Chumley. I've done it a few times myself. So they're both still alive, but they may have missed something a bit more spicy. So it's Oscar Saristo right in behind then, so that gap has closed up significantly. So 7th, 8th and 9th then all close together again. So Chumley group front of that group, 2.5 seconds between him and Rory Logue up the road, quite a gap to Rory, then he's got another 2.5 seconds up the road to Brugnara. So all spaced out a little bit at the front. Pit window opens in just over 5 minutes though. It remains to be seen if that will change anything. You do get quite often people messing up their pit stop, and you lose 3 or 4 seconds there, it can really change your race. Krishna going off in the background. I'm going to use a gravel trap, good old-fashioned gravel trap, say back in the day when they weren't just tarmac everywhere. You'd actually get punished for going off. I sound like grumpy old man waves fist at gravel trap. Right, it's more waves fist at tarmac runoffs, isn't it? Why I order? Back in my day when this was all fields. So this train of 3. Still together, Eric Larson, McLear and Hall. Ian Hall, really not a fan of his chances then tonight. His team name X-Car, I can't do Nurb. So he's not a man with holding a lot of confidence for his chances here this evening. But 13th, not too bad. So there are a lot of quick drivers in and around the top half of this grid. So even be able to mix it in the top 15-20 is quite tough. So he's pushed on handily as well. So tracks like Kyalami last week, I'm sure we would have seen him even further forward. He looked really cracking at the start of this season as well. It was right in the pointy end of the grid, and yeah, the next step really then is mixing it with the top guys. I don't think he's all that far off. He's got the consistency now. And then once you've got that, you can really hone your skills. Once you've got that consistent and confidence that comes with it, you can start making those incremental improvements. A 10th here, a 10th there come, and all of a sudden you are pushing forward much quicker than maybe you thought you would. So Larson, half second back from Chumley at the moment, quite close between them. Pit window opens in just over 3 minutes. Be interesting to see if we get anyone pitting straight away, maybe getting themselves out of the battle. See if they can put themselves into some clear air. Whitburn, 3.7 seconds. That leaves not stretched too much, doesn't need to at this point. Just keep yourself consistent, keep doing the pace you're doing. So Larson not far from Chumley. Saristo just in behind Nuttall as well. Fleety back in 10th, but 5 seconds back, so he's some way off this battle. Martin Legg letting Christopher Larson through. Larson give it a quick flash just to let them know, but Legg being Legg, because they'd already seen them come in and sort of moved over and let them all through. So I sod that. You lot are having your own fight. I'll let you through and then carry on. Thank you. Go on board with the leader then, seeing how he's faring. No back markers to get past as of yet, but they won't be too far up the road. So it'd be interesting to see whether he maybe pits early. I'd suggest maybe he won't. He's probably better not as well, because if he's better out in his own space, bit of fresh air, then it probably just suits him more if he keeps going as long as possible, so that when he comes out of the pits, everyone else has pitted, and he's more likely to come out back into the position he's in. Whether that's how he's thinking, though, remains to be seen. May not be. So next time round, pit window will be open next time Matt comes past the pit entry. So we'll have the opportunity, we'll have the option, but whether he will, it remains to be seen. If I'm in this position, I probably don't. I think I keep going for as long as possible. Jerome Morman, only half a second now then. Basically not really any gap between himself and Kieran Sharp. Brugnara trying to come along for the rides, but Morman pushing as hard as he can. Set another cracking lap, the last lap into the late 53s again, 53.8. So Kieran might have his work cut out, keeping them behind. So depending, maybe Sharp will decide to come in nice and early. Quite often you don't see the front guys pit straight away. They normally give it a little while longer. But it depends. If he knows he's going to get caught up in a battle, he might think, sod this, and just get in the pit lane. To be interesting, let's go on board with Whitburn just to see if he decides at the first time of asking to use the pit window. So pit window is open now then. So Felix Jeff has come in, so he must have been right close to the pit entry. Yep, he is. He's into the pits. He's the first driver to come in. Matt Whitburn, I think, will probably stay out. Yeah, it'd be silly to go in this early. Kieran Sharp and Mormon, nope, they both keep going. Sharp's not intent on just trying to pit early to get rid of Mormon and hope the undercut really serves him. They both stay out, so very few of the front runners I think coming into the pits. Yeah, no one really in that top 10 has decided to take the opportunity just yet. Ian Hall though has come into the pits. So 13th place, first driver that's decided to take an early stop. Team Power having a bit of a moment earlier in the lap. It's about 5 seconds down on this lap, so has dropped out of that battle. He would have been in with was it Haskell and Conzabo? Well, not much about that. Maybe Haskell. I don't know. That looks like a Kilty Haskell. It looked like he let him past almost there, but again, tough to read without seeing the original whatever happened. Gojai then into the pits at the first time of asking. Obrick in as well. Martin Legg has come in too. So how is Kieran Sharp holding on? Doing okay. So Mormon be pushing, but it gets a bit tougher the closer you get. Go back and see if we can catch a apparent collision on it'll come up for me, so I want to see if I can find out what happened. Oh, I think I already know what's happened here. And then he's gonna bonk. Yeah, not great. Probably avoidable. Well, it's definitely avoidable, isn't it? That'll get checked again. Don't worry. As I say, always gets looked at. Ouch. Yeah, I saw something earlier on a little bit, but not too much. But anyways, it'll all get looked at, and as always, we will see. So Sharp and Mormon did both come into the pits at the same time. I thought Mormon might follow him in. So this is going to be absolutely tantamount on getting your pit stop right and hitting your box spot on. BB79OG, cheers for the follow, much appreciated. So Sharp right down to the end of the pit lane, all over the bumpy stuff. Will he nail the pit box? So that's going to be the important thing for him here. Will Mormon, so he's a little bit further back in the pit lane, will he have gotten it right as well? So we'll see very shortly, depending on where they come out of the pits. We'll go aboard with them in a second, see what happens, just see how they are when they come out of the pits. So Mormon is already moving. Kieran Sharp towards the end of the pit lane. Is he moving, or has Mormon got him in the pits? Oh, go. Oh dear, that's close. Oh, that is very, very close. So just by the fact he's nearer the exit line, he's able to get up to speed a little bit quicker. And actually, so they've all pretty much come out as they went in. So they've got another 40 minutes then of fighting. and they can continue that battle. So I wasn't surprised that Mormon followed him in. I didn't think he'd go for an overcut. I don't think it would probably work. He's had some cracking lap times. It all depended how confident Kieran Sharp would feel coming out off the pits. So Matt Whitburn still going strong, and he's deciding to pit now then. So still pitting relatively early, first 5 minutes of the pit window. I thought he'd maybe leave this longer because this will drop him back into a little bit of traffic. You have to be careful depending on where it drops him. Puts him in and around other cars. Rory Logue's in as well. Jamie Nuttall's following him into the pit lane. So a few more drivers taking the opportunity to pop it in there. You can see Rory Logue and Nuttall, the two McLarens. Eric Larson and McLear into the pits too. Where's Sharp got? Oh, okay, there he is. I couldn't find him. There he is. He's down there. So yes, obviously they pitted. So down in 17th at the moment, just behind. Who would that be in front? That would be Dean Power, I believe. Looks like Dean Power's car, but good old timing screens on ACC aren't exactly the best. Definitely doesn't look like Shavinsky's car. I can tell you that for nothing. So good stuff from, I think that's Power. I'm pretty sure that's Power. Let's have a look. Where is he? Yeah, there it is. So it's good stuff from Dean Power. He's nailed it there. Just lifted down the straight. Hasn't lost much time at all, really. On his own now, he's lost like 3 or 4 tenths, but he's let a couple of the lead drivers go once it's all worked itself out in the pits. And yeah, it was good stuff there. Just lifted a bit, didn't get in the way. They were able to use his slipstream a little bit and slipstream each other. And he was out of the way by the turn one. So really, really good stuff. Matt Whitburn back out. And I don't think he'd have lost anything, but he does have to be careful if he ends up in a little bit of traffic, but I think he might be okay. Might get away with it still. Ian Hall. Look at Mark Peters just in front. Maybe a little bit of contact between the two just before we came on board with them. Peters up in 21st, but does still need to make that pit stop, as does James Haskell and Van der Wolf. So actually quite a large amount of the drivers took their mandatory pit in the first 5-6 minutes of the pit window being open. So it used to be often that you'd see it was always in the second half of the pit window. Larson and Surrey Stowe from 3rd and 5th, both into the pits as well. So it'll start coming out in the wash now who's where once everyone's made their pit stop. Ian Hall having a look. No, he's going for the move. It's a brave, but it's going to get stuck nicely. Hits the apex beautifully. Good move that as well. So they're not the same class anyway, so it doesn't really benefit Mark Peters to fight that one. Anyway, so there's no points difference for Ian moving up like one or Mark moving back one. They are still in the same place in class. So Shavinsky in the pits as well. Jamie Nuttall just coming out now. We left that just at the wrong time, didn't we? Just at the time it looked like it might be about to happen. Oh well, we'll have to. Hopefully nothing untoward went on just then. Chumley 7.5 seconds behind Brignara. Again, he's top 4 at the moment. Gautam Krishna, Fleety, Chumley and Brignara still to pit. Larson that made his pit. Where's Matt Whitburn? So Whitburn coming down to the hairpin. Where's Christopher Larson? Yeah, some way back. So Whitburn in a good position. It all depends where Brignara and Chumley, especially Brignara, fits in. Gustav and Paul, they'll very much go out of the way very, very early. So I'm no interest in getting in your way here. Thank you very much. Oh, there's also the fact that it's his dad. So just clocked. That was Paul Whitburn letting Matt Whitburn go. So it was dad letting son go. Opening the window and shouting, "That's my boy!" as he screams past. Okay, it looks like tonight will be the race where he makes the most of that pace. It does take home the first win of the season. And you can have all that raw pace, but it is all about making the most of it. And he's doing that so far tonight. Getting that pole position, very, very important. Just gives you a chance to not have to worry about having to battle the cars in front. Gautam Krishna and Jordan Watson then into the pits. Sam Fleety, Chumley and Brignara still out on circuit. Still got another 5 minutes and 40 seconds to make their pit stops the next couple of laps. We'll see them coming in. Same with Haskell, Van der Wolf, Mark Peters. And I think that is it, yeah. Everyone else has made their pit stop. Rob Control still in the pits. I don't think he'll be leaving. I think that is him done. I think that'll be a DNF for him. It's a shame. We've lost just a couple of drivers so far tonight. Conor Galbraith being one. I think Rob will be the only other retiree so far. But yeah, still plenty of time to go, still over half an hour. Brignara's into the pits now from the lead. Jordan Watson in the pits as well. Okay, it'll be interesting to see where he drops out back onto the circuit. Considering he did start from the pit lane, he's doing pretty well, all things considered. He's still a chunk behind because I think he'll be a lap behind. Yeah, where Brignara is. He's literally just in front of him at the moment. That's basically a lap. Kieran Sharp still got Mormon all over his rear end, so they came into the pits like this and they came back out and they are still flying formation at the moment. Sharp's quite fond of a good close battle in this league. He's always got someone right up his trumpet. So he's more than comfortable fighting, more than comfortable defending if he has to. So Brignara is much, much more comfortable, it would seem, now in that Bentley than he was at the start of the season. Looks like Chumley all in his own space now. Fleety as well. Brignara's out back on circuit. He has not. No, Wombala. No, I really wasn't sure quite how to pace that, saying your name. Yes, no, Fleety's still got to make his pit stop. He's got 3.5 minutes. So Chumley and Fleety will still need to make their pit stop. Oh, look at that. So Brignara has come out right in front, and I don't mean right in front, of Kieran Sharp and Jerome Mormon. It's going to get nice and spicy. Oh, nice. Well, he's not exactly sluggish, is he? He's a bit nippy. No, he's had good pace this championship. Just not had too much luck. I think he got a podium last week though. Did come home in third, which was a cracking result at Kyle Army. But yeah, that's a solid team, mate. Now, what race are you doing? What's that in December? Oh, Sharp having a look. Not going for it yet though. You can see he's dropped Jerome Mormon just a tad. I think that slipstream probably doing him the world of good. So this battle will be for second, third and fourth most likely once everyone has pitted. Sam Fleety then has come into the pits. There we go. The bonk and then another bonk. Yeah, not the most comfortable. Obviously that's why they wouldn't do that in real life. You'd be running lots of people over. But on here it's like, well, I want to go in the straightest line possible between here and that pit box. So Whitburn, once Chumley's made his pit stop as well, will assume the lead again. Yeah. He's the yin, you're the yang. It's right. Oh, fair play. All Brands Hatch. A track I'm absolutely toilet at. I like the track. I'm just absolutely rubbish. Really winds me up. That lovely circuit. Can't drive it for toffee. There's a lot of circuits I can't drive for toffee. To be fair. So that's not really much of a surprise. That's why I'm here. And they're there. So it'll be interesting to see where does Fleety come out. So Fleety coming up to turn number 1. So he is going to be coming out in about... Let's go back on the board with them. So he will be up, yeah, down in 10th, just behind Saristo as well. So Whitburn will assume the lead. So still, if he can get a top 10, get some decent points, he should get points just for his team name really. A donk on it is quite a strong candidate for best team name in the championship. There's a few good ones, but that's up there. So Chumley into the pits then. So that's pretty much the last driver. He had to make the pit stop then as well, otherwise he'd have got a massive penalty. That's a shame. So Jordan Watson, we saw pit. He was done. He did not come out of the pits. He retired from the pit lane. So starting in the pit lane, ended his race there as well. That's a pity. Didn't think he was in a bad position either. So that's a shame. Yeah, there's a few here, isn't there? There's quite a few. He's only turned up in like a swarm. Well, a swarm's got a lot of negative connotations, so maybe that's not fair. So Matt Whitburn, if anything, I think has grown his lead since his pit stop. He's in a great position. Mattia Brignara is still only just ahead of that train, so this will be second, third and fourth. There we are, pit window is done. Chumley still to come out of the pit lane. He's coming out of his box. He just leaves his pit box, literally the end pit box. So he will rejoin. I think that will be Larson. Oh, just coming down to the end of the straight. I think he gets out in front. So he's going to be having a battle with Larson. He will, yeah, for 5th and 6th. So Whitburn assumes the lead by a good 9.5 seconds. Look at that cracking driving from Whitburn, making the rest of that pace that he's had all season. And then Brignara has got a fight on his hands though to hold on to second. Yeah, there's quite a few cracks drivers in here, I believe. I can't remember who all of them are now, but yeah, one of plenty. On the whole, like really quick and clean fellas as well, isn't it? It's just, yeah, it's like fair play. So none of these three are slouches, very consistent with their pace as well. So they're going to be relying on at least one of them. You know, Sharp is relying on Brignara making at least a small mistake so he can catch him. Then at least they have a battle. That's what Mormon's probably hoping to happen. Then he's got a chance of catching up to Sharp and Brignara, because at the moment, you know, he's more than a second back from second place Brignara. And there's decent sized gaps between them. You know, you can still see each other, but it's not like they're in each other's toe quite yet. Good boy, Rory Logue back in 7th, but he's got Larson and Chumley 6th and 5th right in front. So there's still a couple more positions to be up for grabs here in the final 28 minutes. So again, Kieran Sharp trying to keep Mormon behind while trying to chase down Brignara at the same time. Good boy, Max, and so was 3/4 of a second behind Gautam Krishna. I think Krishna, if we can come board with him, where is he? So yeah, he's dropped back a tad. So Maxton up to 18th, Krishna down into 19th. He's about 6.5 seconds down on this lap, is Krishna, so he's had a fairly large wobbly at some point. Doesn't look like he's got too many scuff marks or any scuff marks on his car though, so as long as he's kept it out of the wall. There's plenty of runoff around here. Hopefully he's only just used that and not gone to any harm. A little bit of a wiggle there as he came around the final corner though. Well, I just have to disappear unfortunately from the microphone for 2 seconds. I'll leave you on board. Let's go with Kieran Sharp, who's in the middle of this battle. More like to see some of the fight from there. I'll leave you on board with him and I'll be back in a few minutes. Cheers for the follow, Junior Lock and Load. Much appreciated. So, just over 21 minutes to go. Again, don't mind me if if I go quiet. So, not very well today, so wasn't sure if I was going to be able to stream at all, but it's nice to be able to watch the racing. Give everyone something to watch back later on as well if they fancy seeing how they did if I watched them on stream. Apologies to those that didn't watch, there are a lot of you. Try to cover as many drivers as I can. There's Paul Whitburn getting out of the way of Sharp and Moorman. Let's go back a little bit further. Rory Logue still trying to close up that gap to Christopher Larson as they go up to the Schumacher S's. Superb corner when you really nail it, feels lovely. Not so good when you make a mess of it. Or a little sideways from Larson in front. That'll be giving Logue a little bit of hope. So it doesn't look like we're getting any wet weather this race. I know a lot of people that put practice in were pretty dead certain we were going to get wet race, and they've just been very unlucky, really, with the servers decided that this time round we were having a dry qualifying and a dry race, despite most of the practice server being wet. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You can't set the weather in ACC to be one way or the other. It's you put in a bunch of variables and then you get what you get. There's, I think, Ryan Blanchett getting out of the way. Good stuff. Nicely done. So look at that, Whitburn's lead at 10.1 seconds at the front, so it looks like a pretty dominant drive from him. He should be off and away. At the front, shouldn't be anything for him to worry about really anymore at this point. So a few back markers as well, having to try and make their way out of the way for people. So Jamie Nuttall here trying to chase down Oscar Saristo for 8th place, that Audi right in front of him. It's a funky looking livery that, but makes him pretty hard to miss. Just over 19 minutes left, Whitburn again, letting them through. We'll suck a bit for Paul. It's going to be a lot of blue flags for him at the moment. But again, doing good as much as he can to get out of everyone else's way. So Smallman not really able to close that gap. Stone and around 8 tenths there since the previous sector hasn't closed down at all. I'm just trying to be careful not to let Sharpie get away from him. Just stand close enough. Any mistakes from Kieran might give him a chance at the podium, but as it stands at the moment, a 4th won't be too shabby. The guys in front have all been really very, very fast this season and very consistent this evening as well. See how Andrew Pike's faring. Up into 21st, only 6 tenths back from Wojtek Neuwirth. Sure, I'm butchering his surname as well, I do apologise. Not to Pike, I know I'm getting his surname right. But Neuwirth in front. So he's very up and down season, he's got decent pace, just again. Either getting unlucky and getting caught up in stuff or just not quite going his way. Oh, Martin's had another off. Let's have to sit there like a good boy, let everyone go through, and then he should be okay to continue. I'm assuming he's just had a big off on his own here. Let's have a look though. Sorry, Martin. If you do watch this back, I apologise. I mean, he's listening to the stream while it happens, I'm sure, so he'll know we're watching. He's just gone a bit hot, trying to over-rotate. He's going to clip the grass, and round it goes. Oh, well avoided. It's a shame for Oscar. He's lost a position to Jamie Nuttall because of that, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nuttall got past, but they did. Leg held his brakes, just planted his foot on the brakes, and then you're a stationary obstacle. I'm sure he got in front. Yeah, so there we go. So Nuttall's up into 8th, which is a bit of a bummer for Oscar, but there's not much they could do about that. And Jamie avoided him nicely and took the opportunity that came his way. It's opportunistic, very much so. But there's nothing wrong with that. How's the stream gone for you guys as well? How smooth has it been? It's I've been having issues my end with it playing properly. But I don't know how it has been for you guys. Haven't had any drop frames or anything, but yeah. Might just be my issues on my laptop that I was playing it back on. But hey ho. Alright, evening AJ, here for the final 15 minutes. Hope one is well. It's a fine evening. It's a bit burnt. That's pretty comfortable. So Ian Hall, 8/10 back from Eric Larson. Pretty much on their own battle now. Peter Grew's in 13th. Another really strong shine from him. Hopefully he's not punted anyone tonight, but well, who knows? We'll find out, I suppose. No, Dirty Gyro, obviously, he's yeah, just made a couple like single misjudgments and been like, oh god damn it, and held his hand up immediately, I'm sure. But it's had what looks like a decent race so far tonight. So it hasn't got mad, like just hot lap pace. He's always roughly 20 seconds often in qualifying, 23rd. But he's got a good consistent pace in the race. And then so he always pushes forward. If he can stay out of trouble, like he doesn't get hit by anyone else at the start or whatnot, he's often in and around this sort of position, which is much higher than where he's qualified, just because he can do it like lap after lap. A lot of drivers don't have like a qualifying pace where they can go rapid in qualifying and then change it up in the race. Just much like myself, I have a pace. I have a lap times that I can do. And that's just they're the laps you get. Are they quicker without fuel? Yeah, sometimes not. So back markers galore here then. So the best thing they can do is keep going. Sharp and Mormon will know they're there. Best thing they can do is not spook at all. Just be predictable. But also not just keep going like they're not there at all. And I think Simons is going to kind of go like they're not there at all. Now it does get out of the way just at the end. It's a little bit twitchy whether that was going to be the case, but he lets them through. They will have Gerjai Konzabo. Oh, gets out of the way nice and early. Good stuff from him. So it's the fight for that final podium spot. Brignara's up the road now. He should be done. He's 3.5 seconds clear of this battle. You see, it's getting very dark now. It's what they all see. It's what Kieran Sharp is in. Wicked team name as well. I mean, God knows if maybe he's actually set up an account. Maybe, you know, times are tough. Maybe that's how he's making his money. Can't be one to judge. The big joke is because obviously his name in Discord is Average Sharpie. It's a Sharpie, type of pen, Bic, this is type of pen. Yeah, it's probably suggested by Leg. It's a terrible joke, so it might have been Leg's idea, I don't know. So yeah, it's nice and dark. Nice and moody evening. Talking of Leg, I think he had a big old death again, but again, still going strong. Well, Strong's pushing it, but he's going. Keep going, Leg, you can do it, mate. Only, what, 6 or so laps to go? 6-7 laps to go? Hello, flash. That's how I can tell he knows he's watching the stream, because you get a flash. Could concentrate on the driving. Nah, sod it, I'll flash my headlights instead. Flesh. See we are. Right, I'll leave you alone now. Good luck. Get to the end. I mean, I don't think you're going to be gaining any spots at this point, but just finish. Just finish, get home, and yeah, move on to next week. So next week being the final round of season number 9. Then we'll be on to season 10 in the new year. Last round next week as well is Spa-Francorchamps. Already looking forward to that, I can tell you. Just over 10 minutes left then. Oh, it's a great track, isn't it? Yeah, I'm looking forward to driving that again. I've procured a wheel recently. Until then, I've been on pads, so I'll be on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to giving Spa a go on a wheel, seeing if I'm any quicker. I mean, I can't be much slower. I could be slower, but yeah, I'm sure with a few laps, I'll get some pace. Just want to improve my lap times from the lowly rubbish times I'm setting currently. I cast him. There's some circuits that are great. Spa's pretty good fun. I like to see people's auxiliary light choices around here, which I like. The blue effect down the sides. Nice. I always go for something garish, bright yellow, bright pink. Something that just doesn't match my car colour in the slightest. It's Andrew Pike. Had been a bit in the walls today. I think he's had a coming together as well with Neweth not long ago. Neweth now. Is that Neweth right behind him? Yes, it is. Can't tell in these conditions because it is really, really dark now. Like, really dark. So is that Neweth's car? Can't see his livery, to be honest. I know it's an Aston, but that's all I've got. It's the joy of OTL colours. Bright orange. Can't miss it, even in the night. Sticks out like a Christmas tree or a very sore thumb, or a bit of both. Oh, Pike really attacking that curb as well, so he's doing okay. I mean, Pike obviously got caught up in some stuff very early on, so that hindered his race greatly. But yeah, into the top 20, so still grabbing some points. To Quinton then, all over the back of Jan Niklas Erbrick. In the 15th, Alexis and the AMG battling out at the end of the race then for 15th. Next cut of the road's a good, 15-20 seconds away. There's McLear, so they should be safe. Ian Hall as well, having a big old fight in that apex beautifully. They'd have to close up quite a bit, but not so much they could take advantage of the Bentley sort of beasting up the road using its power. But Eric Larson doing what he can here to keep Ian Hall behind him. Again, they won't catch Fleety. Fleety should be safe for a top 10. Suristo trying to get that place back from Jamie Nuttall that he was unfortunate to lose when they had to both avoid Legg, who had spun at the hairpin. Nothing untoward. They just both avoided. It would be, some people might think you should maybe let it back pass or something. I wouldn't. It's just like you go around the crash, and whatever way you go, you avoid a crash. They both did the right thing, and yeah, this is what they are left with. The last 8 minutes. Seven and a half minutes to go then. So a few battles still being fought out on track. Let's go board with James Haskell. So that is one of the front runners letting them through, being lapped. That is Mormon and Sharp that have just gone through. It's all part of the challenge though. try and have your own battle while you're having to try and get back past your back markers as well. Especially in a 75-minute race, you can have a little bit more of that. Because there is a fairly large differential between the cars nearer the front. And there's cars a little bit further back. It's a one-tier league, so it's a bit of a spread of different ability levels. Again, nothing wrong with that. Makes for more unpredictable racing. It's always been like that. We've been like that since the first season as well, so it's nothing unexpected for the drivers. So a bit better with that lead, nearly 15 seconds now. He's a comfortable victor tonight as long as he gets home cleanly, doesn't disconnect all those potential hurdles. It should be okay. So not on Sarista. I think I had a bit of contact just a second ago. But they're still going. They've lost a bit of time, but I don't think it'll be enough for Sam Fleety to close him in, although he's much closer than he was earlier. We can see what he can see. So that is Saristo just up the track. So if those, I don't know if those two fight enough the next couple of laps, that could become a three-way battle the last lap or so. We're using all of the track and some. And you can see Saristo has gone ball with them further forward. There we go, Saristo looking to make the move, and he's got back in front as they come into the chicane. Oh, and he's going to have a back marker spin in front of him. Oh, they're not having much luck on that front. Oh, he's going to be done again by now. That's the second time. What a poor sod he is. Couldn't be more unlucky if he tried. Flipping heck. Poor Saristo's got past him twice, or been in front twice, and that one's got back in front twice because of avoiding a crashed car. God, if he didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all. I think it's the same. Poor sod. Right, so he's going to have to try and do that all over again. He's had no luck this evening, but he's only 4 minutes to go. See what he can do. All he can do is try his best and cross his fingers. See what comes out at the end of the race. Logue 3/4 of a second back as well from Christopher Larson. Might be in with a good shot here. Set a very good lap last time out. Was nearly 6/10 quicker than Christopher in that BMW. So he's got a chance. If he can replicate that kind of lap time, then Larson's going to have to get on the defensive and trying his best to keep him behind. But it might be a bit too tricky. Oh no, we lost Timo Buring. What happened there? Is that a disconnect? I wonder. It might be. Oh, it was from 17th as well. It was the leading AM car. And now that's Krishna. I wonder what happened. Yeah, car disconnected. No, that's a shame. Dear oh dear. About 10 minutes ago that happened as well, crikey. No, it's a pity, but yeah. The last remaining couple of minutes for those still on circuit. So Logue just not able to catch him. Chumley, got back on board with him. I haven't seen him for a little while in the race. Only half a tenth back from Mormon. You can see here he's trying to get on to the back of Kieran Sharp again. Sharp's just made a little bit of a jump just to try and get away, and actually his ideal situation now is that Mormon has to defend from Chumley, and Sharp can put in a good lap or two and try and push away off into the distance. Chumley not really been in too much of a fight or battle at all this race, but still could come out with a top 4 if he can make his way past Mormon. Mormon's been very strong though in the Bentley, so it'd be harsh on him. Just a couple of laps to go. Yeah, Matt Whitburn just coming towards the end of his lap to start the final time around. So 1.5 laps to go for these guys. Mormon is going to have to go on defensive. I think Kieran now will disappear off a little bit into the distance.
Final lap now.
I mean, you could see Mormon's lap times drastically drop off here. It depends though, is he going to still try to keep pushing? He might, you know, he's got a best form of defence sometimes is to attack. So the best way to keep Chumley behind him rather than thinking too defensively and negatively might be to keep pushing. But you only have to make one small tiny error. Now, and then Chumley will be straight past him, so he has to be very, very careful. So final lap then for these guys. Whitburn with his 15.3 second lead. Sharp about 3.5 seconds back from Brugnara. Brugnara and Sharp on for the podium spots. As it stands, Sharp 1.2 seconds clear of these two now. So yeah, a little bit of a getaway. Yeah, he's just trying to push on now that he knows there's a little bit of a battle going on behind him. The Rory Logue we've still got trying to catch Christopher Larson. Larson, again, no mug though. Quick, consistent. Don't get many mistakes to take advantage of. A lot of flashing going on, telling people please get out of my way. I really don't want to have a race ruined by a back marker. So that's James Haskell. He'll have to make his way back, way past in a second. Got to be spooked out of the way. It's just got to be nice and predictable. Maybe go wide at the hairpin. Maybe is an option sometimes they take. Don't know if he's doing that. I don't think he is. Oh yes, he is. No, good stuff. Hopefully he'll be all right on the exit. Let Rory pass as well. Just another lift. Just makes you a bit worried he won't. No, he's done okay there though. A little bit of a gravel from Larson. Is that going to cost him a little bit? I think it has done. Oh, and Logues will get up the inside. No, sorry, the outside. Is he going to go all the way round? We'll go back on board with Whitburn. So Whitburn wins the race. Superb drive from Whitburn. Fully deserved. All that pace eventually had to bring a race win for him. Brugnara's going to come home in second. Let's go back on board though quickly with Larson. So Logue has made his way past. He's up into 6th. Just that one little bit of gravel on the outside of the S's. Could cost him. So Kieran Sharp is going to come home in 3rd. So well done, Whitburn, Brugnara, Sharp. Your podium finishers. Mormon just holds off Chumley for 4th and 5th. Oh, a bit of a bum fight going into the final turn. Logue, so much chasing tonight, and look like cars everywhere all at the end here. It's very different positions in terms of the race overall. So Logue does take 6th from Larson. A little tap there from Larson to say well done. Larson takes 7th. Nuttall comes home in 8th. Does get Oscar Cerise. Poor old Oscar. No luck at all tonight. Sam Fleety does take a top 10. Decent solid drive from him though. Well done to Sam. Super drive. Eric Larson does hold on to 11th. Ian Hall not quite able to catch him. Good driving. So Ian Hall and Peter Greaves, cousins by the way, in real life, able to finish 12th and 13th. Nice and close together. Hope he's feeling better later on, Peter. You won't watch this back or anything, I'm sure, but either way, hope you feel better soon. Coming home in 13th, again, superb drive from him. Andre McLeod, the Romanian, coming home in 14th. Jan-Nicolas Erbrick coming up to the final 10. Got Quinten van Vingerden just behind him. They will come home 15th and 16th. Andrew Pike, bit of a recovery job after the start, did very much not go his way. Dropped quite a few positions very early on, but forged on nonetheless, and still rescued a half decent result into 17th. Obviously, we know he can be much further forward. Nearly got a podium last week, so he was somewhere off that, but fair play to him for continuing. Gautam Krishna to cross the line in 18th as well. Forge Techno coming home in 19th spot. Oh, Vanderwolf nearly running out of fuel. That would not have been nice. Let's go to the time tables. So, well done to Matt. His final winning margin, 16.9 seconds. Superb drive. Well done to him. Cheers, BB. Yeah, it's been good fun, this. They expected rain, like I said, but didn't get any. Practice loads of it. Qualifying, race, bone dry. Yeah, Brugnara and Sharp, solid drive from them. Sharp doing a good job to keep Mormon at bay for most of the race, to be honest. Chumley in 5th. Wasn't too far back in the end from Mormon. Got closer to that battle than I thought he would, but was, yeah, another couple of laps. I think he might have been amongst it. Rory Lowe getting Larson on the final lap and a bit. Again, tough on Larson, but well done to Lowe for nabbing that spot from him. Jamie Nuttall, again, getting past Aristo twice while they were avoiding spinning lapped cars. So, yeah, advantageous, very opportunistic, but, yeah, fair play to him. And, yeah, good driving from all of them. Sam Fleet again in the top 10 as well. Oh, did you have that kind of race? Did it not go? Is there? Am I going to see plenty of replays when we go through the detected incidents from tonight? Ian, is that? I'm worried now, Ian. I like you. I talked you up loads in the race. Now I'm going to look like a right wally when next week you got like a permanent ban from OTL for being a right naughty boy. No, obviously I doubt you're going to be that bad. Christ, we've had some right nutters and they very rarely get full on bans. I mean, look, we let legs still race, so you know. Hello, Greaves. How you feeling, man? Still a bit of feeling a tad rough, I assume. Fair play though, 13th. But you take that all day long. Nah, that's all right, Ian. We'll see. Well, look, if we know we like you. Don't worry. We know you're not. You're not a dirty driver. Don't worry. We all have them. We all have those nights. Yeah, well done, Peter, as well on a wicked result. Hello, Leg. No, I thought you did. Coughing was good. Yeah, you did. I said you're a bit like me. I'm not a hot lapper. I can't do quali pace. I mean, that's not me. But I can do the race. I can do consistent driving in a race. If everyone else starts falling off the track, I'm golden. I quite often start like 20th in a race and end up like 11th. Yeah, I know you heard that, Leg. That was the intention. So. Yeah, no, that sucks though. Hope you feel better soon though, Peter. Really do, but never. Yeah, wicked drive. Very, very homeschool racer type driver that. Yes, some people can't do it. Turning like having a switch where you can do qualifying and then race pace is I can't. I'm trying to do my quickest lap in qualifying. That's the same lap I'm trying to do in a race. It's I haven't got that different mode. I really wish I did. Yeah, I mean I've had plenty of races like that at Wombler as well, where you know. Start 18th or something and I'm 12th by the end of the first lap and people are pushing, you know, people can be quicker than me, but if they're having a massive off or even decent sized off every 5-10 minutes, every 5-10 laps, whatever it's, you know, and I'm not, you benefit. So very different drivers. 20 damn it, it goes to the next server too quick, darn it. Yeah, about there. You normally qualify anywhere between about 20th and 26th, 27th. Sometimes you have a really poor one, you're like late 20th, early 30s. But you always seem to make your way to like the mid-teens. It's like, how you do it, I don't know. Yeah. It can definitely happen, but I definitely, at certain tracks as well. Sometimes it's not that bad to be further back. You can avoid all the carnage. Let everyone else die, and then coming through, straight down the middle. Hope they don't restart the race and yeah, take advantage. Sometimes it goes like that though. Sometimes it goes like that. Right. As I said, I don't feel quite as rough as Peter, but I'm not feeling great. So I'm not going to rather than hang around here chatting absolute garbage. I can't say carnage and garbage. It's not like it's cool. Garbage. I'm not going to stop talking garbage. I'm going to head off and get some rest and get a nice early night. But yeah, cheers to everyone for watching tonight. Cheers for the new follows and whatnot. Much appreciated. You can hopefully catch us again next week for the final round, and that's at Spa-Francorchamps. Classy streams only, of course. Carnage. It's a bit, what was it, Nigella Lawson, which was joking, calling the microwave a microwave. And people thought she was being like, actually, that's what she calls it. It's like, no, she's taking the piss. She knows that's not actually what she calls it. You're one of those few people, Peter, who knows how to get those extra characters. People going, how do I get that on my keyboard? But you're a man of fine taste, a cultured individual, Peter. Well, you coded PHP, so you have to be a bit of a nerd. And yeah, man of he knows about the alt and then the character. Yeah, he knows how to get all that. He's a man of many talents. Qualifying isn't one of them, unfortunately, but he's got plenty of other talents, which is good. Anyways, right, again, could be here talking a lot of garbage, that's how you say it, for years and years. Right, yeah, cheers, Peter. Good to see you, though. Much, cheers for dropping in. I said it's, I do try and chuck people your way to your channel every race. I'm always talking you up, so yeah. Cheers for dropping in, and hopefully I'll catch you next week with less of a cough. So yeah, cheers, man. Cheers everyone else for watching as well. We've had some cracking racing as always. I'm sure the Insta panel's got plenty to watch through before next week though, so that'll be fun. Can't wait to see some of them myself. I'll see you next week for the final round at Spa-Francorchamps. Hopefully, I'm not feeling like this on Monday. We have an Assetto Corsa, original Assetto Corsa, little mini league going on. That is a BTCC Super Championship for 4 weeks before Christmas. On Monday night, should have a good sized grid. We had some good fighting on Monday in the eval race that I wasn't able to stream, but yeah, hopefully you can join me then on Monday for a bit of Assetto Corsa action, and then next Thursday for the final round of this GT3 season number 9. So yeah, cheers everyone for watching. Take care. Hopefully we'll have a wonderful weekend, and I will catch you all next time.